You know, over the course of the past couple years, there's been a lot of discussion about Rick and Morty, right? Oh my God, Rick and Morty. Have you seen Rick and Morty? It's the greatest show ever. Szechuan sauce. A lot of people out there like Rick and Morty, myself included. The show seems to really dive into some interesting themes and interesting characters, and it takes us on a very, very, very interesting ride all the time. But it's always been touch and go in regards to the franchise, right? The first 3 seasons were spaced the F out, and that sucked until we learned that Adult Swim had commissioned 70 episodes, basically meaning 7 seasons. Now, Justin Roiland is coming out there and saying, yeah, I'd like to make a movie based on the series. And you know what? I am all for it, but I have to ask the question, could Rick and Morty operate in a 90-minute animated feature film and still be as pop culture relevant and still be able to provide the oomph and the zazz that the show has that people love, but in a long form? And again, this is the kind of thing that really, really, really took The Simpsons until 2007 to do. It took them till 2007, 12 years ago, to do a feature film that they ended up writing 161 variations of the script for. I'm not even kidding you. Anyway, it says here, so it sounds as if Justin Roiland, the creator of the rude, crude, whacked out animated series Rick and Morty, is game for making a movie based upon the property. While promoting the release of his company's first video game, Trover Saves the Universe, Roiland braved dicey threads on Reddit AMA, where Rick and Morty Creative expressed interest in creating a motion picture featuring the series' repulsive yet oddly endearing characters. During the AMA, he was asked, will we get a feature-length Rick and Morty film ever? An R-rated film that's totally bananas. It should have said totally pickles, but whatever. And then Roiland said here, I would love to do that. Yeah. And then, you know, one person here responds with 6 seasons and a movie and then 4 more seasons, which is clearly a reference to Community creator and Rick and Morty co-creator Dan Harmon and that whole thing that never fully came to fruition. They got their 6 seasons minus the movie. But anyway, it says here, while no concrete plans for a Rick and Morty movie have been officially announced, fans of the gross-out sci-fi animated series are bound to be stroking their pickle ricks to the idea that Roiland is entertaining the possibility of creating a feature starring his beloved characters. And again, they're up for another 70 episodes, so it's not like people are going to be out of Rick and Morty for a while. There's always going to be Rick and Morty around in one way or another. But again, I have to go back to that question. Could this show and its particular narrative survive a 90-minute feature? Now, South Park did this in 1999. Hard to believe that movie, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, is almost 20 years old. I recently rewatched it. It still holds up. It's still utterly hysterical and extremely, extremely culturally relevant to where we are right now. Those guys are always great at really, really, really finding the pulse of society and constantly nailing it for years and years and years. That being said, they've only done one other movie in the 20 years, and that is Imagination Land, which was a 3-part episode, which came out a couple years ago, and it was fantastic. And they had originally plotted it out to be another film, but opted to just turn it into a 3-parter for TV. And they've done other multiple 2- and 3-part episodes before that have been felt like film, has been really, really, really good, like their Console Wars episodes from the fall of 2015, leading into the release of 2013, leading into the release of Stick of Truth in the I forget what it doesn't matter when it was, but they released Stick of Truth. It's March 2014, I believe. But the whole point is that they can do this. Rick and Morty, I believe they can pull it off. I believe they could expand upon the current mythos well enough in order to be able to do it. But then the question becomes, what is it that they would do? Now, if you go back to like season 1, the episode where they go into the homeless guy's body and they created the Jurassic Park of all those diseases, is something that could probably sustain an entire 90-minute episode. The concepts there are crazy enough to work in that particular capacity. Or perhaps bring in something involving Scary Terry, which if they do a feature film, Scary Terry's got to be there 100%. Pickle Rick's got to be there 100%. But if you want my honest opinion, the Council of Ricks and all of that, and trying to take out Rick once and for all, is probably going to be the best thing. Finally working towards, uncovering Evil Morty's plot, stopping Evil Morty, would also be a fantastic feature film because they could make that work. They've already alluded to a lot, hinted to a lot, and I think a lot of people out there would really like it. My problem, though, or my fear, I should say, is that Roiland himself would not be able to come up with the concept on his own. Neither would Dan Harmon. These guys operate in a 22-minute construct. They operate in a 22-minute world, and that's where they live. Beginning, middle, end, 22 minutes, that's that. I don't know if they wouldn't fully be able to sit there and expand upon it to a feature-length level without the middle absolutely positively feeling the brunt of that, or the full weight of the movie would rest on the middle section of it, which if they're not telling something that's compelling or interesting, a lot of stuff would get lost because people would get bored. Now you're running into a 45-minute part of this thing. Nothing's really happening. What's going to happen next? Who knows? And go from there. But if they brought in a talented enough screenwriter, I think they could make it work. And if you want my honest opinion would be on this one. Have Roiland and Harmon, who are both LA based, head over to South Park Studios during the off season, talk with Trey Parker and go, help us come up with a story. And go to Trey Parker, go to Matt Stone, and have them help come up with the story, because those guys have been able to stay relevant for 20 plus years. They know what they're doing. They work in the animation field. They've done an animated feature film. They've done multiple feature length, episodes kind of that are compressed together, and they would be the people to talk to. And look, I'm saying this as a pure fan of both shows. If they combine, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, specifically Trey Parker with Justin Roiland, I think it would blow my mind in a way that would just never come back down again. And I think that would probably be the best course of action for trying to get a movie like this off the ground. But then again, look, these people know what they're doing. Roiland's very happy that they got picked up for 7 more seasons. He says it gives him job security. So the break in between seasons is not going to be as long because they're not waiting to see whether or not they're going to get renewed. But I think the popularity of the show, which kind of hit its zenith in season 3, already would have solidified them for getting another 10 seasons to Adult Swim, who's idiotic, especially if they would have canceled it, especially considering the merchandising of the show does very well. So that's my thoughts on this one. If they are going to do a movie, I think that's how they should do it. How do you feel about this, though? Do you want to see a Rick and Morty movie? Is there a storyline you'd like to see expanded upon? Do you want to see them officially kill off Jerry in the film, be done with it, let Chris Parnell go? Would you want to see the Meeseeks popping up? Who, Mr. Poopy Butthole, who do you want to see pop up in the Rick and Morty movie? Let me know down in the comments below. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a fantastic day, and peace out.